Web pages are all about delivering content to users so they can see the content and they can gain value from it. The different types of content that you can have, well, some of the more sophisticated types, you can have video or embedded animation, or you can have images. But often the most basic type of content that there is, which is also one of the most popular, is just basic text. So how we handle basic text in web pages is incredibly important. At the moment, if I look at the text that's written here in my code, I can see that it's just simple text and it's just dropped straight into the body element. And let's take a look at that in my browser. So I can see the text just comes up as normal in a body. It doesn't really show the pros and cons of formatting text in different types of ways because it's just a single line of text and it's reasonably easy to read. But if I go back to my code and I replace that text with some other types of text. So what I'm going to put in here is I'm just going to put in some what designers call lorem ipsum, which is just filler text. And it's just lots of text so I can see what a page full of content will look like. So I've copied and pasted in a number of different paragraphs there, but we can still see that it's just gone into the body element, and I've still got an end body tag at the bottom of all of that. So I'm going to save that and I'm going to see how that looks in the browser. And as you can see, it gives a much bigger or better or more accurate representation of what that web page would like in all its basic glory, what it would look like in a browser. It doesn't look too good. It's not that readable. First of all, it spans across the whole width of the screen, but also it's just a huge block of text one after the other. Of course, it doesn't help that it's in Latin either, but even besides that, it's still very hard to actually crunch through that text and read it as a root user. And so you're probably guessing already what we need to do here is what we've already done for centuries. We've just put these blocks of text into paragraphs. And to put large amounts of text like this into paragraphs, you've probably guessed already that it involves some other type of HTML tag. If I go back to my code and I'll just take away some of those different paragraphs, and I'll just focus on a few. And what I'm going to do is just inside the body tag, and just before the actual body text starts happening, I'm going to put in a paragraph tag. And a paragraph tag is just a P with an angle bracket either side. And wherever I decide the end of that paragraph is, then I put in an end paragraph tag. And I go Command and Save, and I check it in the browser, and let's go refresh. So I can see here that it's a paragraph. It jumps onto a line that is an empty space and then jumps onto the next line for whatever is the next content that comes after the paragraph. And I can do that a number of times throughout my text. It's interesting as well that it doesn't matter if I come into my HTML code and I press enter a few times and put in a few line breaks in the code. HTML and browsers, they ignore blank space unless it's just a single space. And what that means to us, the web developer, is the easiest way to get paragraphs is to use paragraph tags. And generally, unless there's a good reason not to, any content text that you have, they should always be separated into paragraph tags. We can do a lot with paragraphs that we'll see later on, but the main thing is that they first have to be inside the paragraphs. And that's an intro into how to use the paragraph tag.